What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for some more NECC esports action. We got some more Rocket League Champions Division, Bethel University versus Northern Kentucky University. I'm going to be your color commentator. My name is Lars Newton. Joining me here in the casting booth is the one, the only, the Novanta for your play-by-play. Novanta, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so glad it's only just me here rolling with Lars, Mr. Newt. The Newt is on the loose. I can't wait for this matchup because what we have here is a literal David versus Goliath. Northern Kentucky University's run of form cannot be understated enough. We're heading out against Bethel University, a team that has yet to win a series here in NECC.
Oh, they haven't won a series, and in fact, they haven't won a game yet so far this season. So I think the big win for Bethel going forward is going to be, can they take a game off of NKU? Because like we said, Northern Kentucky is a solid team. They took down Fresno State Blue. They are actually sub 500 so far. So they're going to be looking to go into that 500 stat line, get even in the season so far, 2-2. But like I said, they took down Fresno State Blue 3-1. They lost to Alabama Crimson, which, as we just saw, is a very, very solid team, and they lost to Lincoln Land, but they're one of the top three teams tied for top three. They lost to them 1-3, and they dropped to Boise State Blue, who is also a very solid team, 1-3. So NKU, again, like we said, looking to go 500, and Bethel, I think, honestly, at this point, just looking to pick up some games and improve their situation a little bit in the season.
It's one of the things about this conference, especially as the season goes on, that there is a parity there between these squads. And so you're getting out of that comfort zone where you can chalk it up to early season jitters. Bethel needs a win, and they need one fast to have any hope of staying competitive. But look at these rosters here. Bethel is fielding Kisma Queso, Barsock, and Napier Legacy. And of course, over on the Northern Kentucky side, we have the, I guess, popular trio, the fan favorite trio of Rickles, Rule, and Pig. And Lars, what do you expect from these two squads here today?
Well, the thing about Northern Kentucky is they are a top tier team. They are awesome. Some of these players have awesome experience going so far. They've had a lot of success in other environments. I expect them to have a lot of success here as well. But the big note about Northern Kentucky is they run a 5-player roster and they like to sub out players. So it'll be interesting to see as the series go on if they bring in other players going forward. Game number 1, though, is already on the way.
5 seconds on the clock, best of 5 series in Northern Kentucky, the stronger team on paper and maybe even in practice here, trying to make short work of Bethel University. And Bethel's really playing for pride here now to show they can hang with the other teams in their division.
Advantage already off the bat in favor of Northern Kentucky, spending effectively the entire game so far down in the blue half. I think the first step, number 1, to getting a victory here over Northern Kentucky for Bethel is going to be get this ball clear. That's a big double touch off the wall to do just that.
Yeah, only 30 seconds elapsed, so we're definitely seeing a tale of 2 teams off the rip. Rule with the clear, heading down there past the pig, has open road, and it's in there. Kentucky makes short work of the exchange, and they're leading 1-0.
That's a quick turn back the other way, and this is something we saw a lot of in that last series is these leak-out passes upfield. Send it up to a player lurking midfield and beyond, and they're able to touch that one home with nobody home on defense. Goal number 1 to Northern Kentucky.
Yeah, a lot of teams will drop that one right down the middle. But if you're looking at Bethel now, I hope that's not an issue of a deeper psychological problem. Rule with a shot, but it's blocked by Retzi and picked up by Pig. Pig eyeing it over the goal to Rule, but it's out of his fingers, or out of their fingers, excuse me. Pig with a second opportunity in front of goal, past the Retzi with a swept round. Kiss My Queso was being a bit of a nuisance there, even though contact was not part of the exchange. Retzi has some room in front of him, eyeing the goal from an odd angle, tries to beat one defender, has one over the beat, but it's cleared away by Pig. And, well, you know what? I can't knock Bethel's brazenness here, Lars.
Brazenness is going to be exactly what they need. They need to be aggressive. They need to be fast to this ball and not afraid to get up in the face of Northern Kentucky, make good, fast challenges, and just look for every opportunity they get. If they get any bit of open space, punish it with every touch they get.
Yeah, some were saying in the chat that they're expecting a little bit more of a scoring hit parade. There's still time for that, but it's about 3 minutes and 22 seconds to go in this game 1 of best of 5 series. NKU in the orange, leading by a goal that separates the 2 teams, and Bethel in the blue looking to equalize. Pig in its own half, trying to clear out the ball, has a lot of space, but it's cut across. Wow, by Kiss My Queso. Looks like, Retzi making sure, but it wasn't enough. The lead is doubled there. NKU's out on top.
Well, 2 minutes, just about 2 minutes gone. Northern Kentucky on a good pace here, scoring once a minute. But we're getting a lot more even play than I think we expected coming into this one. So far, obviously spending more time down in the blue end with orange on attack here. But Bethel has done a good job of getting some opportunities themselves, but that's not going to be in their favor. Rule quickly off the kickoff.
Yeah, the first goal was a goal of opportunity. The second goal was a goal of force. This one here was a defensive miscue if there ever was one. And just like that, it went from being even Stevens to 3 up for Northern Kentucky. And we still have a little under 3 minutes to go. Lars, I got to ask you a question. If you're Bethel, what has to change?
If you are Bethel, you need to control the ball a little bit better. You need to get better pass plays up the field, and you need to disrupt Northern Kentucky. Get some demos, get some bumps. If they're not on the field, they can't make plays. And speaking of which, that's 2 demos out of Kiss My Queso.
I actually like Queso, but it's pretty dope. But yes, you're right. 3-0 is the scoreline, and a very aggressive play by Bethel University. Maybe try to get one on the board. You know, sometimes it takes just a single goal to get momentum working in your favor, but they got to link up some passes in the midfield. Rickles had a shot on goal, but a little bit too much sauce on that pass. But Ressi scoops it up on the right flank, using the wall, probably the mid side, and is knocked by Bearstock. Gave him some room there. It was actually kind of a clever play had it been on target to get them back within 2. But the scoreline is still 3-0 Northern Kentucky University. Bethel with Kiss My Queso is doing a lot of the work in the mid-pitch, but that leaves defenses open for a strike. And now the scoreline is an emphatic 4-0.
That's a very awkward challenge to make in the defensive end. Bears here needs to turn. That's directly over behind them, directly overhead and behind them. And it's actually harder to make that touch than if it's offset a little bit. As that ball comes directly over you, your camera swings up, it becomes very disoriented, and it's very difficult to get your momentum to properly stop that ball. If it's a little off to the side, it's a lot easier to just touch that one to the side. Unfortunately for Bears, Rules is going to find that one. Rule is going to find that one from deep downtown.
Well, maybe frustration setting in. It could be a little bit of an understatement, especially if you're looking for your first win of the series, but it's not going to happen like that. This makes it a nickel. Rule with a strike, 5-0 Northern Kentucky.
We're starting to see Northern Kentucky run away with this one. We're coming up on 90 seconds. About 101 seconds remain in this game, and possession so far has been about triple the time in the offensive end for Northern Kentucky. If you're Bethel, like we said, first step to getting this back is going to be getting it clear, but Pig finds number 6.
Yeah, starting to run away with it. They have ran away with it. Doing some little bit of style points to Pig off the backboard, Harlem Globetrotter style, and it's 6-0, and it's still 90 seconds to go. Now we're talking about pride, right? The game is already lost. The battle's lost. The war still a chance to be won for Bethel, but I do think a goal, 1 or 2, may be good for their own fortunes to figure out how could they break this Northern Kentucky defense. 1:25 on the clock. You have Kentucky looking for a 7th, really aggressively though. Almost like 6 isn't enough for them. I guess they overeat Thanksgiving too. And Bear Sock off the wall, maybe some stars, but Rickles gets there instead. And a shot was wide of net, could have been the 7th, but it's still 6-0.
Well, you know, teams don't get to this level that Northern Kentucky is at if they're laying off the gas whenever they start to get an advantage. Expect them to hammer home right up until the last minute. Speaking of which, we're now in the last minute of play in game number 1. A beautiful pass upfield. The Bears is up to the task to take that one away, and that's something we've seen a lot out of Lincoln Land and now out of Northern Kentucky, as these transition plays upfield have been beautiful looks and good attempts on the net. To Bethel's advantage now, though, they've started to shut down some of those shooting lanes.
Yeah, the scoreline has not have been beneficial for Bethel, but you got to give credit to Bear Sock. Getting 2 epic saves in a game is a feat where you can start off to build something as far as your defensive structure is, but as you can tell, quite obviously, goals win games, and it's not enough. The clock ticks down to sub 20 seconds. 6-0 the scoreline. You're just tuning in. This is NECC, and Northern Kentucky has made it very clear they want to be the team to beat this season with an emphatic scoreline in the first game of this best of 5.
I would have liked to have seen Bethel pick up a goal here and get some momentum going into game number 2. It also would have been advantageous going forward, because I believe the statistic is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, in 6 games, now 7 games, Bethel has picked up 6 goals so far this season collectively. Getting a couple of goals in a game would be a big momentum builder going forward, and a good step towards picking up some victories as the season moves along. The other thing they need to see here is jumping those passing lanes, taking away those transition opportunities. The big change here we're now going to see is Northern Kentucky, I believe, is going to be swapping out a player for a new player. So we'll see if that changes the dynamic a little bit.
Sure, I think they have enough of a comfort to do so. But Lars, I've been a fan of your work and your approach to the sport of Rocket League for a long time, and you usually hammer home the concept of shooting and passing lanes. What does that mean to Bethel in this case? What is a shooting lane or passing lane strategy you think could be beneficial for them?
Well, let's talk defensively first. And for those that aren't super familiar, the shooting lane is going to be anything right up the middle of the field. As you get further towards the corners, you get lower and lower probability shots because it becomes a narrower net to shoot at. It's easier for the defenders to try to pick up saves on that. And it's got its own advantages if you're attacking from there. But in general, you want to attack the net head on. You want to be coming straight down the field at that net in that shooting lane. So if you are Bethel, you need to be sure that you are clearing that ball out to the sidewalls, giving Northern Kentucky worse shooting angles to attack from, and then coming down the field about that transition of midfield from defense to offense. You want to start to bring that ball back into the midfield and set up your shooting lane yourself to attack the front of that net.
That's a very good call. 5 minutes on the clock. Lars, take this one as I refresh my monitor.
Well, game number 2 about to get kicked off here. Obviously, game number 1, handily won by Northern Kentucky. That's a big, speaking of handily won, a big kickoff win for Bethel, but Rickles is able to touch this one deep down, and Rule looks like they're going to be putting this one on. There's a double touch. 9 seconds in, and Northern Kentucky already off to a commanding lead here.
Yeah, Rule in traffic is off kilter. Its own insurance policy, and the good thing that he's followed through with that, and that was the difference. 1-0. And Northern Kentucky, you said, wasted no time. Looks like they have some plans after this match because they want to make sure it's a series as short as possible. 1-0.
Well, I hate to say it, but if you're looking for the shortest possible series, you can't be scoring 6 goals a game. Watching these replays sucks a lot of time up, but it does give a chance for Bethel to stop, reset. A team bump on the side of Northern Kentucky allows Bears Rock here to pick up the ball and some boost on the wall, put this off the back wall, but there's no one home from Bethel to follow that up. A big demo from Northern Kentucky. Northern Kentucky just doing an excellent job of managing just about everything. The physical play, the positioning, the speed, the mechanics. It's going to be very difficult for Bethel to find an advantage here.
So what exactly is the main issue here as you tell me about this goal? Is it a defensive speed? Is it a rotation? Is it a formation? What's going on for Bethel today?
Bethel in general just isn't playing as fast as Northern Kentucky. They're struggling a little bit to keep up, and what ends up happening is it allows Northern Kentucky to actually play a little bit slower, and when Northern Kentucky can play slower, they can play more consistently. There's a big trade-off between the speed of play, the pace of play, and consistency. The faster you go, the more likely you are to miss touches, miss things like that, and you want to a certain extent. If you are hitting every single touch, you're not going fast enough, as Rickles finds a third here. But if you are missing too much, then you're going too fast. NKU able to push the speed on Bethel, forces Bethel into that over miss scenario and allows them to back off into a higher consistency scenario.
I think the word of the day is composure. Northern Kentucky has that in spades. That's the kind of shot you make when you have all the time in the world. You're not been overly challenged, but not to make this a total eulogy for Bethel. There's a lot here to actually like about what they're doing as far as giving each an opportunity to be a shooting option, to be a passing option. This haven't quite worked out for them. I do think they do have some goals in their future, but as it is right now, they are climbing from a very large deficit in this game 2 of this best-of-5 series.
Yeah. Coming up on the 90-second mark, gone in this game number 2. There's Gradster with the follow-through. Something Northern Kentucky, again, talking about the things Northern Kentucky is doing well. It's these re-attack opportunities, hit that back wall, and always have a player lurking, ready to follow up. A couple of opportunities for Bethel have gone by the wayside, not really to their own fault, because Northern Kentucky has done a good job of physically disrupting that attack and not allowing that follow-up opportunity.
Yeah, Gradster, the substitute for Pig, making itself known on the score sheet. We're worried about chemistry. Doesn't see that much of an issue for Northern Kentucky. They are in cruise control now. That shot's but left to go, but the scoop is there. It's 5-0. Rickles makes it a statement with number 5 of the day, or 5 for the game.
Not even halfway through game number 2, and a commanding lead for Northern Kentucky. Spending about 3 times the amount of time on the offensive end as opposed to Bethel. What I do like to see is Bethel is still getting looks downfield. They are still getting opportunities. They are putting shots on net and just haven't found a way to make it effective. And like we talked earlier about those shooting lanes, you can see that attack coming from the corner and how easy it is for Northern Kentucky to push that away. We can get this ball out in front as Retzi gets a big demo to start to clear out some of this defense. I'd like to see Bethel look for midfield passes as opposed to a little bit of corner ball, as it's referred to.
So I was going to give Bethel credit for sticking to a 1-to-1 formation, but here was a ball that had an opportunity to be cleared away, but it looked like there was a more concentration on boost collection. Essentially, by Kiss My Case put him out of position, and that was a goal that was easier in a night where we saw a lot of easy goals conceded. That's something that can be worked out on the training pitch. Scoreline, Northern Kentucky looks like they're in a way to have their second match in a row in this best-of-5.
I do want to point out Northern Kentucky is to your point, making it look easy with some of these goal scoring opportunities, but how these develop isn't. Being able to play at that kind of pace, to be able to outrun your opponents and open up these opportunities, that's not easy to do. And if this game slows down a little bit, Bethel very much so comes back to it. But if you're Northern Kentucky, why slow down? If it works, continue to lay on the gas and hammer home.
You know, I'm a big fan of the combat sports, of the boxing and wrestling, and there's something in all those things called fighting spirit. That's the idea of when you're beat down, you say, I don't care. You rotate as crisp as you can. You put your eyebrows down, and you try your hardest to give your opponent the respect that you gave it your all. And despite the scoreline, right now, currently 7-0 in favor of Northern Kentucky, you got to hand it to Bethel. They could have forfeited, they could have logged off, they could have uninstalled by now, but they're keeping with it.
Well, you mentioned fighting spirit. Novanta, as I'm sure you know, I was a collegiate boxer, and point number 1, don't let your kids box. I don't recommend it. It's not healthy. It's not good for you, but you're absolutely correct. The biggest win in my boxing career came off of exactly that. Get that fighting spirit, ability to come back. With plenty of season left here, at NECC. Bethel, it's time to develop, to pick up some skills. And the big advantage here of playing against teams like Northern Kentucky that are so solid and so dominant. If you are Bethel looking to pick up their first goal of the match just wide, it's a great developmental opportunity. The fastest way to get better is to play against, frankly, better teams. And you get that experience of playing at higher paces, of playing at higher speeds, of getting different looks and different defensive reads, and finding creative ways to open up the net for your own goal scoring opportunities.
Absolutely, and I want to say, of all the Bethel supporters in the crowd today, this is the start of a brand new journey for your squad. They've actually been playing well compared to past weeks, so I'm definitely seeing some improvement, even though the scoreline has belied that effort here today. A little over a minute to go here, 7-0 in favor of Northern Kentucky, and Reggie looks to pull one back, but it's stopped by Grace. There's another shot by Case, so that's also cleared off the line, and that was the best opportunity, maybe even two, to get a retroactive Brazil, I guess we call it at that point, for Bethel here. Lars, game 3 is next. It's looking more and more apparent that Northern Kentucky is going to be at series point. What's going through their mind, do you think?
I think Northern Kentucky, honestly, at this point is happy to walk away with whatever victories they can get their hands on in this commanding fashion. I think they're feeling pretty confident going into game number 3 that they're going to get that one as well. I also want to point out here, to the credit of Bethel, as they're looking for one. It's just wide off that pitch, and Bears is up. Bethel scoring their first of the series.
Give it up for Bears Rock there, making it happen. The shot where it was needed. This was a rare moment. Northern Kentucky was kind of late on the jump, maybe a little bit of overconfidence there, and they paid for it. That's a lesson to learn no matter how strong you are. Sometimes David gets a hit on Goliath before the stone. 7-1, 27 seconds to go in this game 2. I hope Bethel takes that as a little bit of consolation prize for this game and use it for momentum in game 3.
Novanta, I've never liked the David and Goliath comparison here, as Northern Kentucky just hammering away at the goal line and can't quite find it. I'll explain why I don't like David and Goliath in a little bit here, but as game number 2 ticks away, this is clearly a Northern Kentucky victory. But like I was saying earlier, this is also the highest division here in the NECC. You have players here that are capable of making runs all the way up to the RLCS level. So being in this division, Bethel is making a statement just by being here. It's a great look. And like I said earlier, it's a great developmental opportunity, as it looks like Northern Kentucky is going to be swapping out 2 players really quickly. Why I don't like David and Goliath comparisons. It's a little bit of a misleading story. David, yes, was a much smaller kind of, wouldn't have won in a physical fight.
Right.
But if anyone's ever looked at slingshots and the power they're capable of generating, what that story really is, Big Bully gets into a fight with kid with gun. it's not quite as fair as it's made out the other way. Totally aside.
I hope that you never lead Sunday school, ever.
Just completely disregarding the whole message here.
He's asking David having a gun. I understand where you're coming from. Sometimes it seems the whole thing is stacked when someone brings a slingshot to a fist fight. I get it. But if you're Bethel, it has to be something you can pull from today. It has to be something where you can't go, what's the use? There has to be some kind of nugget of wisdom, some kind of strategy they can pull, right? Playing a team as strong as Northern Kentucky.
Well, they've done a good job of finding those touches and making good challenges. The one thing where I haven't seen Northern Kentucky be really dominant going forward, the one thing I haven't seen them do, super, super commandingly, is win 50s. And in my opinion, we talk a lot about stuff. We talk about, mechanical play. We talk about managing your spacing on the field. We talk about all kinds of things. And if you want to talk about one mechanic that I think is the difference maker between championship teams and not championship teams, it's 50s. The ability to consistently win 50s up and down the field is what separates the good from the bad. And right now, not to knock Northern Kentucky or Bethel, it's been a very even 50 games between these 2 teams.
Yeah, head-to-head has been pretty even, and just that mid pitch has been the difference, favoring Northern Kentucky quite obviously. Well, time will tell if the reverse sweep starts here, or it'll be a good old classic sweep as we are at game 3 with Northern Kentucky up 2 games in this NECC Series best of 5, and Pig is looking to score. Pig and Rickles in it with JF Machine this time, with Gravester sitting out with Rule as well. The Rule set out for this one. Bears Rock looking for a shot over his opponent, but it was pushed wide, and Rickles tried to collect it, but it was a little bit of a sloppy action in midfield. JF Machine has some room in front of him, but he got stopped by the wall. Sometimes you get too overzealous. That wall can just mess up your entire shooting strategy, and I think JF had it going a different way in his mind.
Well, let's talk about shooting strategy with the back wall as we see JF Machine looking for one right there. One of my favorite ways to attack the net, I said this a little bit ago, I'll say it again, is to not attack the net. Attack that back wall, hammer home on it, draw that defense out just like that, force a response. A couple of hits off that back wall opens up the net, and we get goal number 1 for Northern Kentucky.
So Pig with a shot that puts you in a clear or die situation, and Bears Rock was just an inch too short, and that was easy pickings for JF Machine. 1-0 the scoreline, 3:45 to go, and I think the chat is making their predictions of what the final scoreline of this game is going to be, but Rickles looking to make it an easy 2-0 on the left side, pretty much unchallenged. He got to the other half of the pitch, and it's open for the net, but it's stopped by Napier Legacy, and JF Machine was a little bit out of position for the follow-up. Pig eyeing it. Somebody call it a shadow, somebody call it a cruise. Not sure what his plans are. Stopping a shot there from Retzi, but Retzi clears the white to pass the Bears Rock. It's almost in there, but it's cleared away by Pig.
Closest game we've seen yet. That was a beautiful opportunity here out of Bethel, and Bears Rock doing an excellent job clearing that one away, meeting at that back wall. That's something that's so critical about teams. Some teams struggle with that back wall defense. They allow that ball to bounce down. They're just looking for that read off the back. And we have a team like Northern Kentucky that's dangerous because they could be looking for that read and be slamming home double touches off of that. So Bears Rock doing a great job there, getting up, meeting that ball at the wall. And even if there's an attack back the other way, wow, big save from Pig. Even if there's attack back the other way, you are between the attacker and the net. You prevent that double touch opportunity. And then taking it a step further, Bears Rock gets that one cleared deep into the corner and away. Great look in the defensive end. They just need to find a way to do the same in the offensive.
It's almost like a different team is on the pitch for Bethel here with 2 shots on goal. That could have been to their effects, but those defensive mistakes persist. 2-0, JF Machine, another one. He has a brace in this game here, using a little bit of the work of Pig, a little bit of a tap over to make it happen. Give and go, 2-0.
You said using the brace of Pig here, and Pig actually leading the team as far as points go for Northern Kentucky, despite having none of the goals. 2 assists, 2 saves. Really goes to show that the big factor in a threes game is teamwork. You know, we talked about the individual contributions of 50s as Rickles gets a quick read off the wall there. But, you know, one of the big things is you need to have teamwork, and Northern Kentucky doing an excellent job of that.
Passing play punctuates your save in there. 3-0, 2:16 to go. It's best of 5 series. Northern Kentucky in the orange are at series point, meaning if they win this game, they win the series. And Bethel in the blue trying hard to get some goals on their tally, maybe some games in their tally as well. Napier Legacy had a shot, but it got lost in the geometry there, but it's passable. J Machine has open another shot there, but Pig is behind, taps it in, will go in, crossbar down, and that could have been an easy 4 Rickles with a float over. That's also short, and it's clear by the but Pig with another shot. Bears Rock a little bit wide, but the shot was wide as well, and it was a little bit of a Rule 1 situation, which I don't support, by the way. Flame in the chat if you want to. 1:42 left to go. 3-0 still the scoreline. Pig is looking to make it 4. Stops offensive attack, but Retzi really wisely actually gets over there to get himself some room there over the orange goal. Tapped in, but it's top right of Napier with a follow-up by Bears Rock. 3-1, Bethel scores.
Bethel giving a little bit of Northern Kentucky's a taste of their own medicine. Look at this re-attack, the pass in from the corner, the touch off the back wall. It drew the entire Northern Kentucky team out of the net, and then the finish off. This is exactly what you need. If you're getting into Rocket League, you're wondering, how do I improve at threes? How do we as a team move up the ranks in threes? That's it right there, that quick rotation, that good management of space, able to attack and re-attack exactly like Bethel. I do want to point out real quick, you don't support Rule 1. My first instinct, and it's thank God I'm a professional, was to be as toxic as possible to you, Novanta, for not supporting Rule 1. I was so ready to throw absolute heat your way over that. But I had time to calm down, to collect myself, and now we could get back to what's important here, which is the game on the field.
I appreciate the restraint there. 3-1 the score line. And, you know, if I'm Bethel, of all the games in the series, I think this one's worth a watch. I really feel once they dug their heels and decided to be a bit more aggressive with them, it was a lot of a conservative score line, Rule 1's aside. And there might be a chance for another goal here, but this time in the favor of the Kentucky. But was it passed? Will it be clear in time? It won't be. 1-4. Northern Kentucky has this one to run away.
Well, 36 seconds and 3 goals is possible. It's just extremely unlikely at this point. Northern Kentucky looking like they're going to take this series in a sweep. But you're right. If you're going back, if you're Bethel University and you're wondering, how are we going to improve for next week? How are we going to get an advantage? I would recommend every team look at every replay. But the one you really want to focus off is this game number 3. As they cut that lead in half, that's on pace to bring this one back.
This here is a defensive miscue and a positioning mistake from Northern Kentucky, and Retchie just walks it in, and that's what I'm talking about. The pressure caused a little bit of mental error, maybe an overconfidence error on the side of Kentucky, and the scoreline is 2-4, a very respectable scoreline compared to the other 2 games in the series. And we still have about a little less than 30 seconds to go. Rickles probably wants the last goal for the team to be in favor of Kentucky, trying to start something there, but Bears not going high with the lime green fending, but Pig catches it in the sky too to Rickles on the side of the wall. It's heading towards mid-pitch, but it's stopped by Napier Legacy. Bearstock with around Rickles. He looks a little bit confused. Bearstock's putting me down, but Pig is there, the last man back to push it a wire. Napier with the last shot possible to Bearstock, and it's going to be against the wall. Keep it up. The real rule 1, maybe. And it might be. No, that's records will stand 2-4 for Northern Kentucky.
Novanta, you're tempting faith here, my friend. What
do you mean?
What's going on here? Oh, yes. Completely innocent Novanta has no idea what I'm talking about. Congratulations to Northern Kentucky University taking that victory in a 3-0 sweep over Bethel. Bethel, unfortunately, continues a streak of bad luck as they fall yet another clean sweep to their opponents, but they do manage to keep themselves exactly on their goal a game pace so far in this season. Real quick, we don't get to bring you this action and we don't have sponsors, so show people love. Show the people that show us love some love. Make sure you run out, and if you are looking to start up your own esports team, go ahead and check out Meta. Meta Pro Gaming is a full-service esports management, developmental, and consulting company. Meta provides esports coaching, college esports management, arena design, and equipment. Visit them at metaprogaming.gg to learn more. Novanta, what is your takeaway from this series?
Well, I got to say that I was surprised at how Bethel was able to adapt in that game 3, even though the scoreline didn't work for them as well. 2-4 is something to write home about compared to the scorelines of the first 2 games. And, well, you know, legacies have to start somewhere. But speaking of things that are legacies and legendary, what about Respawn? Respawn products are forged for all-day comfort for content creators, professional and casual players, or anyone looking to upgrade their setup. Respawn has been battle-tested and achieves a level of comfort that leaves competitors in the dust. Live to play another day with Respawn, your battle-ready partner.
Well, as we move on through here, Novanta is just an absolute pro, showing everybody love. You love to see it. As much as we got a little bit of animosity here about the Rule 1s, we do have some more NECC action coming up for you after a short intermission here. Upper Iowa versus Fresno State Maroon. I've seen Fresno State Maroon before. They're a ton of fun to watch. So you got to make sure that you are here. I have been Lars Newt, your color commentator. I think Novanta may still be sticking around, so you get to stick with the good caster. Right after this break, we will be right back.
What sound experience would you like today?
I'll have the fantasy pack.
Good choice.
And could you make it a Cloud 2 wireless?
On his way, sir.
Sounds amazing.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Welcome to the NECC for yet another matchup. I'm Lychee, and properly labeled for the first time ever is Novanta just to my right. I don't think I've ever been happier for something than I am right now to find out that we both have the correct names. Novanta.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome. How you doing?
¿Cómo va, paisano? Yeah, it is kind of funny seeing your actual name. Sometimes I have to wonder, are you Z Lychee? Are you Lars? Are you Grant? But I'm so glad you're Lychee, and I'm so glad we're back here for NECC action, my friend.
Oh, I can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some Challenger Division action coming up for you. This is going to be Missouri Baptist going up against Boise State Orange. Novanta, you and I were talking before we went live. This is an absolute heavy hitter matchup. Missouri Baptist at the top of the West Challengers leaderboard. Boise State Orange directly underneath them in second place. Missouri Baptist have swept every single series that they've come up against so far. They're 3-0 with 9-0 in terms of their games. Boise State also 3-0, but they had a slight stumbling block in two of their series. They're currently 9-2. I believe that two games, 9-0 and 9-2, there's not too much difference between them, but at the very least, Novanta, one of those teams can say that up till this point, they've been flawless.
Yes, and Missouri Baptist can be that team. We're looking at the really equivalent of King Kong versus Godzilla, am I right? Undefeated teams clashing, something has to give. And when you look at these stats and you look at the run of play, the only we can sit here as casters and go, well, what caused two times to have Boise State drop their games? Who can make them bleed? And the answer is, if there's anyone that can do that, it's the number one team in the division in Missouri Baptist. So it's close to call, but I have to give the edge to Missouri here. They haven't been touched, and we're already, 4 weeks into the season?
Yeah, we're quite a ways in. Fresno State Red and South Miss were the only two schools that were able to take a game off of Boise State. However, Missouri Baptist, St. Ambrose, also South Miss, and CSU-DH flat out swept coming up against Missouri Baptist. So I don't even have a prediction. I'm pumped to see the highest level of Rocket League within this division, and I feel like it would be foolish at this point to make a prediction unless you have a point against me, which I'm happy to listen to.
I don't, but look at this. It's not like Missouri Baptist walked over a couple of amateurs. I mean, Cal State Dominguez Hill has a very strong program, and they made them look out of sorts. I mean, it says something to win or losses are academic, but the way they've won is so far this year could just tell you that this could be another example of how strong they are. If there is anyone that even has an idea, a plan of attack, it's going to be Boise State, but they have to act fast. Their speed has to be faster than they have been playing, and the rotations have to be crisp. There is no margin for error for this contest, or else Missouri's walking away with another one.
I wanted to touch on that a little bit as we hear the engine notes rising. So we are about to get this game underway, ladies and gentlemen. Novanta, you've casted Boise State Orange before, and you made a remark about Thunderama, about how on paper, and please correct me if I'm wrong, if I misunderstood anything, but on paper, he looked like an absolute showstopper, but then in practice, I think maybe every once in a while you were saying that he was coming up against some difficulties. Did I understand that correctly?
So the one thing I liked about Boise State strategy is that Thunderama is usually presented as like a main point of attack, but actually it's kind of stealthy. It's more of a platoon formation between Thunder and Circuit. So whenever time you think Thunder is going to miss a shot, Circuit's right there for the rebound, and it has become a potent strategy to beating teams on defense.
We'll have to see if that works out here. Ladies and gentlemen, getting this game underway. Missouri Baptist in blue, fielding Blue Phoenix, Tendo, and Stoli. Going up against BSU in that beautiful shade of orange. Toxic Circuit and the aforementioned Thunderama. 50 seconds gone, about to have a goal. No, in fact, Tendo stands up tall at the near post. Ooh, Toxic almost had the bump to keep the defender out of the way, but the save wound up coming out regardless. Tendo with a flick opportunity just kind of misses just underneath the ball there. No, listen, no criticism for me. I am terrible at those, and I will miss them just about 90% of the time. So honestly, it was a better job done than I would ever be capable of. Blue Phoenix coming off of that side wall. Thunderama hanging out at that near post. Tendo actually will take over, using all the boost to get up there. Ceiling shot, drops down. Crossbar and in. I thought that was going to bounce right out, but clearly the ball had different plans.
This is what I'm talking about. You know, you can't fault Boise State for having a great defensive attack formation, but the angle was just almost impossible to cover, right? They were caught on the flat foot there. Missouri Baptist opens up the scoring 1-0.
Stully off the side wall. Going for the flip reset. Don't think he has it, regardless of whether he had it or not. Opts not to use it. Off the side yet again. Blue Phoenix is going to fall down as Circuit send it roughly in his direction. This one's up. Tendo gets a touch, but it's out to the right side. Stully waiting for this one. Picks up the full boost as he rotates back. And a great turn challenge. Something I'm a very big fan of, but I almost never execute fully perfectly. Is just that the very chasey play style. I feel like you can get away with it a little bit more in threes compared to twos, because twos you need to be super on point with the challenges you make, but threes you have a little bit of extra cushion in the form of two teammates who, you know, given proper rotation, will always be there to back you up.
Yeah, swivel challenges are not always the best response, but especially if you're playing a more of a long, almost vertical formation of attack, you want to give your teammates some more space to catch a ball if it gets jostled loose. And so it was definitely a smart strategy to do that, and it's something that a training pack can help, but I can tell you I fail those every time.
For me, it's about 50-50, and the failed 50, it almost always results in getting flamed by my teammates. So, you know, you live and you learn. Out mid, Thunderama waiting on the ground. Blue Phoenix meets Circuit at the ball. Stully doing a great job to send it up to Blue Phoenix, but he couldn't quite gain possession of it. Demo on Tendo shouldn't result in too much here. Circuit 0 boost, that's fine. Toxic will see this clear. Stully, this one's up, waiting for Tendo to get up to it, but bails out in midair. Knew that he was beaten to it. 2 minutes gone, and Missouri Baptist still hanging on to this 1-goal lead.
Missouri Baptist has the speed and they have the rotation, but more importantly, they are also doing the boost starving strategy, a classic way of doing it. Make sure you control the sky and cut the knees off your opponent where they can get a shot on goal. Maybe they had a double chance of doubling their scoreline there.
Circuit flicks it, not high enough to beat Stully. Tendo waiting for this one to come down. Opts for the catch, takes it up took it up that back wall and instantly turned for the bump. It didn't wind up working out, but just knowing on the side of Boise State Orange, knowing that your opponent is going to be looking for that physical play is enough to put you off. But none of that matters if Toxic is able to bang one's home like this beyond the halfway line. What a shot.
Toxic, usually the person has a hatchet man, the garbage man on the backside with a long bomb, and even the score up with a little bit over a minute to go, 1 apiece.
Tendo off the sidewall, great pass out. Stully will get beaten to it again, opting not to choose to challenge it regardless. An intelligent play, not something that's yet. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about my play style because it's clear that these guys are just head and shoulders above anything that I'm capable of at the current moment. Phoenix. Oh, okay. Doesn't beat Circuit, but does get the demo on him. Up high, Toxic passing this down. Great pass to Thunderama, and this one's just off to the right side. That was a perfect chance for BSU to go 1 goal up. But for right now, the chance goes begging. 30 seconds left. We're still tied up.
Still tied up. Both teams looking to break the deadlock. I'm sure they don't want to be in a overtime situation. But I will say this, Boise State has handled themselves pretty well, especially when it comes to plays in the air. I think if they were in an overtime situation, it would favor them more. So if I'm Missouri Baptist, you got to close it down as quick as you can.
What a shot from Tendo, taking advantage of the mispositioning here on the part of BSU. Circuit did get a clearance, but Toxic was rotating back on that same area and I think just ran head first into one of the Missouri Baptist players, and that's all they needed. Open the shooting lanes up, 11 seconds left. MBU are sitting pretty with the goal lead. Let's see if they can hang on to it as Circuit chases back, does pinch it out, super close. At this point, Missouri Baptist just need to keep it in the air. Stully knocks it down. game 1 to MBU. That was a close one, I've got to say.
Yeah, you got to give a credit to Missouri Baptist showing patience as I did as a kid playing an NES game, waiting for the boss to reset his patterns and striking when the iron was hot. You had 2 cards land on BSU's case to probably refuel for their next aerial attempt, and that's all the time Tendo needed, and that was the difference.
That was the difference indeed. A lot more saves on the side of BSU, and that is probably to be expected given that they were, well, you know what? I say that. It was only a 1-goal difference, but 5 saves on the part of BSU compared to just 2 for Missouri Baptist. I think the shot total lends more of a story here. 8 for Missouri Baptist. Boise State Orange, 3. So doubling the shooting percentage for Missouri Baptist were able to manage to double the shooting output compared to Boise State. It's a trope that we touch on time and time again. Outshoot your opponents handily, and there is a good chance that you'll be going home with the victory.
I think Boise State has a very unique problem. It looks like they were giving their opponents a bit too much respect on the pitch, and they paid for it. So, yeah, look, defense wins games, but you got to score to win. I do think we're going to see a lot more aggression on the side of Boise State, but time will tell if that will relate to a win.
Waiting on word from production here as we wait to get the new teams on the pitch, I should say. Novanta, you just came off the back of a series where I heard you and Lars had the thing going up against with the whole David and Goliath situation. Sure. And I noticed earlier in this matchup before we got live with the game itself, you were talking about it was Godzilla versus King Kong. I was almost expecting you to touch on the David versus Goliath, but just call it Goliath versus Goliath because they're so close to each other, you know?
There's 2 of them. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a mirror image. Like, what? It's like the Spider-Man thing where they're both pointing at each other.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you by the milk truck. But look what we saw. The first game played that script to a T, right? You had 2 strong teams. It was 1-0 for a long time. It was evened up towards the late, and we were kind of like, what's going to be the difference? And 1 goal ended up being the difference. I mean, you can't write a script as like that. And Missouri's Baptist, even though they were a stronger team, eked by. I really think that Boise State has a lot of chances here, as if it was Goliath wrestling Goliath at, I don't know, where do Goliath wrestle? I don't know, WrestleMania, a fight pit? I have no idea.
It beats me, dude. I'm not up on my biblical literature. I must say, I must admit.
Well, if you go to Lars' new Sunday school, David had a gun.
I heard that big bully showing up to a fight without a gun. Apparently, God, the imagery involved in that. What are we talking about? Rocket League.
Yes.
Rocket League. So Missouri Baptist are 1 game closer to, I guess you could call it, the norm of sweeping their opponents. And I must say how impressive of a feat it would be if they were also able to sweep their direct competitors, like immediately underneath them in the table. If that were to happen, and I'm not making predictions. I'm saying if, all hypotheticals, what a message that would send to everybody else in the same division. Missouri Baptist came to play.
A message, that's putting a target on your back. That is when you're goated. That's the way for LeBron James and Tom Brady. Everyone loves a winner until you start winning. And if they win tonight, that will be the symbol to say, come take us, bro.
Thunderama trying to come take this gold, bro. Early on in game 2, I will never say that again. Oh, Circuit will get 1, and Boise State Orange are on the board first. Let's move very quickly onward from what I just said.
What did I say? When you give your opponent so much respect and you get slapped for it, you're going to come back a lot more aggressive. And that's what we saw here. Boise State gets on the scoreboard first.
Bingo, bango. Stoli. Oh, missing this one, but so does Thunderama, so that pressure simply dries up almost immediately. Circuit facing off, 0 boost, so we'll have to rotate back post as Thunderama takes care of this one. Not fully, hands it off to Toxic. We'll call it a pass for the time being. Tendo. Oh, shot opportunity, pinches it off of the outrushing defender. I believe that was Circuit. Blue Phoenix missing this one. Stoli looking to come off that sidewall. Looking for a double tap, in fact, but Thunderama gets in the way. What an attempt that would have been.
Yeah, it was a clear, but it wasn't the cleanest one, and I can want to be easily punished, and I won't recommend it. I won't think it's a good idea, but sometimes it happens when you leave yourself open to attack like that.
So close. Missouri Baptist trying to make that one happen yet again. Circuit up, a double tap off the ceiling. In all my days, I'm not sure I've ever seen one of those before. That's a lie. I've seen plenty before. It sounds more impactful when you say that you haven't, right? That's how that works. Off the backboard. Circuit will float gently down to the ground as Toxic is waiting for some kind of a collection play here. Will collect. Oh, no, won't collect this one up. Misses contact, which allows Stoli to keep the pressure on. That one's dropped down, but Blue Phoenix too far back to make a shot on. Actually, a great clearance there from Circuit. Tendo still did get a touch, but at the very least, it was not on target. 100 seconds gone at this point. Still 1-0 to Boise State Orange.
Well, not for lack of trying on Missouri Baptist side. They have a lot of shots on goal. A lot of them are very creative, fancy footwork, if you can imagine cars had feet, if you know what I'm saying. But they've all been stopped at the goal line by Boise State. They've come here to play, and they want to make sure this series does not go to 3 games, but maybe 4 or even 5, because they think even now more than ever, they have a chance of taking this on home.
Stoli. Pass over to Tendo. Stoli yet again. Pass over to Blue Phoenix. What a passing play. Almost a shame that didn't result in a goal, but unfortunately, the ending shot just wasn't tricky enough to beat the defenders. Oh, that one might be. No, not from Blue Phoenix. Stoli with another attempt, but sent clear by Circuit quite handily, I might add. Toxic missing this backflip. Phoenix coming down. So is the ball. Circuit missing this one. 0 boost yet again. So we'll have to rotate all the way back past the halfway mark now. And not the scoring parade that I was necessarily expecting here. Still only 1 game in it. I am waiting for Missouri Baptist to find their shooting boots.
Well, this is kind of like that scene in Avengers, man, when you had like the Captain American shield and the Thor's hammer combining at once. You're not going to get a scoring affair with teams this technically sound. In fact, I got to give props for Thunderama here, having 2 saves in so quick succession, be able to camp out in the bottom corner of the goal. Is where Missouri Baptist likes to sneak in a lot of their shots. And so you're not going to see those high scoring affairs unless someone put some demos out there. What you are going to see is above technical classics.
Very true. I've been waiting to see the physical play come out a little bit more. If not demos, at the very least, just getting in people's faces and bumping a bit more. But I don't know. For the most part, this has been relatively vanilla Rocket League, and maybe that's part of the reason why the scoreline is so low.
I think it's worth at least a French vanilla, man. A little specks in it. It's kind of crazy.
You had to say that. Blue Phoenix. Okay, quickly moving on to the next topic. Tying it back up with 1:17 left.
Yeah, they're not playing for school pride. They're playing because Legion said it was boring. There you go. It leveled up 1-1. And now Missouri Baptist is back in the game. And it's funny because they have the game in hand. You could argue that they're in the driver's seat.
I would probably tend to agree with you on that. In fact, Blue Phoenix looking for some kind of a dunk, but can't get to the ball in time. Tendo off the back wall, looking for a ridiculous double tap. Read it quite well, in fact. I thought it was a misread initially, but I mean, I guess that's why I'm not a player. This one's sent high by Stoli. Circuit over to Toxic. Great pass, has Thunderama to work with. Drops it down. A little bit too high, but it'll turn into yet another pass. Circuit wide open. Doesn't even need to slam it home because there were no defenders in his way. 2-1 to Boise State Orange.
What I say, Thunderama being the engine to Circuit, popped up and both defenders follow Thunderama, leaving Circuit open. That has been the secret weapon for Boise State. Thunderama draws the defense out, Circuit cleans up, and it's worked for them, and it worked for them just then.
Tendo up, trying to tie things back up, but Toxic gets in the way. Thunderama missing this. Not missing the follow-up. Stoli can't beat Circuit. 30 seconds remain. MBU on the back foot as it stands. Sending it up along that sidewall. Actually worked out to be a quite nice of a pass. This one now all the way back in MBU's half yet again. Oh, what a pass over to Thunderama, but Blue Phoenix up nice and early and accurately, crucially, to get that stop. 10 seconds now. Thunderama Looking for a double tap. No, that one drops straight down off of that upper ramp. Circuit. Double tap of his. No, Stoli save on the goal line. Didn't matter if he scored it or not. Well, I mean, apart from the clip potential, BSU still walk away with the 1-goal victory here in game 2 to put them up 2 games in the series. And now MBU needs to play perfectly. They lose 1 more game and no, I'm sorry.
No,
what?
It's all tied up.
I'm an idiot. It's tied up. Oh my God. Why am I here?
Look, you gotta give credit for Circuit trying to get that cherry on the cheesecake, that cream of the crop, that coffee cream in his coffee, but it was a good play. Again, Thunderama goes up for the shot, got stuff, and Circuit was there for another option. Now, if you're Missouri Baptist, you have to watch that because a goal scored and a goal attempted happened with the same formation. You gotta take Thunderama out, and if you can't do that, at least guard or have a man on Circuit, or else that's going to be scoring all the time. This is game 3. It's a brand new series now. Both teams are pretty strong, Leachy. I can't call it now more than ever, now that Boise State's got its grooves back.
Yes, they have. I don't really know where else to go with this series, like analysis wise, because they've been so close, and you've done a fantastic job picking apart the specifics. I totally agree. I think Thunderama is the person to focus on for MBU to work on taking it off the field. But apart from that, I don't know. Play better, like it. I was just going to say we got score from our producer. This is the first time that Missouri Baptist actually lost a match, lost a game all season. Lost a game, yeah. That's true. That's true. And maybe I'm not putting enough weight in that because, or maybe I am, because at the same time, maybe it was kind of to be expected because these 2 teams were so close to each other on the leaderboards. There was only a 2-game difference. So, you know, producer, get out of my ears. I know what I'm talking about. Okay. Listen, I was expecting this to be even. I wasn't expecting it to be quite this even, given the fact that it's been 1-goal games the entire time. Right. I'm pleasantly surprised at how close this has been. I'm just from a neutral party. I'm enjoying this like a ton.
Yeah, I know on paper we want to see like fantastic plays and where to find them, right? 10-1 score lines and 20-20 score lines. But when you have these teams that are that good, the first thing that I think about is fortifying the defenses, right? And so you have 2 teams that are thinking smartly. You're going to have that kind of stalemate, that standoff, and you may get a 2-goal game or a 3-goal game if someone's being all willy plus nilly. But these 2-1 score lines are going to be par for the course because it's like a mirror match. It's Sub-Zero versus Scorpion. It's like pick your poison, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah, pick your poison indeed. I'm wondering.
Tell me what you're wondering, Leachy.
I'm trying. I'm like so lost for words because I'm such a fan of how close this is that I'm having trouble. And I guess this is why you're the color guy, because you got bigger brain than Leachy does. I'm having trouble picking apart the specifics apart from the Thunderama point that you touched on. I'm having trouble on picking apart specifics that either of these teams could work on. Yeah, MBU, sure, target Thunderama, but BSU, what did they need to do to keep the hurt on this Missouri Baptist roster?
Oh, absolutely. The thing you got to make sure is that Stoli has no room to work. Stoli does not have the best shooting accuracy or is the quickest person on the pitch, but you give the extra space, extra second to pass the ball, to play it off the wall. That ends up being the inadvertent at times engine for Missouri Baptist. So if you're Boise State, you got to do whatever. I'm not an advocate for demos. I think the meta is kind of crazy. I'm also Platt too, so maybe I'm talking out my side of my face here. But you got to take Stoli out. Once he is crippled, or once they are crippled, the team really has to come up with a second idea to be that strong. And so I think that'd be the first target number 1 from Boise State.
Target number 1. The what I'm thinking of now is digging even deeper because these teams are so good at what they do that you feel like maybe it's not just going to be enough to go with one solid game plan. And I'm not suggesting that's all they're going to do, but I mean, you have got to, at this level of play, you have got to have multiple ways, multiple angles of looking at this situation. And for a matchup that on paper was going to be so close and now in front of our eyes is so close, I think it's really testing the preparation from both of these teams and really seeing like how testing the resolve almost of both of them and seeing how committed they are to their game plans. And the second they encounter any amount of friction with their game plan, seeing whether or not they have it in them to stick with it or just to change things on the fly and improvise as time goes on.
And also, Barris, more importantly, this is following Missouri Baptist's first loss. You wonder about the psychological aspect. You never are used to losing. Will you be able to keep your composure the rest of the series?
Game 3 between MBU and BSU. Getting kicked off. 30 seconds gone. Stolly can't make anything happen there. Circuit off of the back wall. Very weak, but did beat Blue Phoenix with that touch. Stolly coming up. Couldn't direct it on target, but Tendo did turn quite quickly, so is able to maintain pressure on the ball, for now at least. Misses this one, waiting for somebody to come in. That somebody was Toxic. Not the person he was expecting. Circuit towards goal. Tendo will catch this with the backside of his car, which is never conducive to maintaining forward momentum. 1 minute gone, Novanta, and both teams yet to score here. I'm wondering if there are, now I know only 60 seconds have gone by, but I'm wondering if both of these teams have thought that maybe a more cautious, calculated approach is the way to go, or maybe they just haven't been able to beat their opponents that are just as good as they are.
A little bit more of the latter, where you're seeing as both teams are losing their defensive and offensive shape, and that usually comes with either nerves or aggression. If you're Missouri Baptist, you had your first loss, so you're basically going, okay, enough with Mr. Nice Guy, let's double down and get a little more aggressive. But if you're Boise State, you found a way to pilfer a win using your tried and true platoon of Thunder Ramen circuits. You want to clamp down with the irons hot, and again, it's kind of like two boxers doing the same jab at the same time, and that's what happens here. A lot of times these teams come out with the same strategy, thinking it's different, and they're doing the same thing. Like when you leave the baseball game in the 8th inning to beat the traffic, but everyone else is doing the same thing. Yeah, it sucks. But what comes out of that is cool Rocket League.
Toxic trying to manage. Sorry, you threw me off with the "it sucks" comment. You're totally right. I've been in that situation many times with sporting games of my own. Stolly, oh, super patient there. I think was looking for some kind of a fake play, but Circuit, all he needed to do was charge straight at that ball, and it worked out perfectly, so no fake to be had. Halftime here. Thunderama on the ball, trying to break the deadlock is Stolly, but yet again, nothing doing. Ball in the corner now for Boise State, trying to clear this. MBU via Tendo, clearing this as well. Blue Phoenix is up. We'll put this into the corner. Tendo looking to cause some havoc. Maybe adopt that aggressive play style. I think maybe he got one touch there, but clearly not enough to make a difference. 2 minutes at this point. We're not going to see the opening goal just yet because Circuit is busy missing by pixels.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Those was kind of the times you have a perfect shot lined up and you swear the goal the size of a thimble. But if Circuit has another opportunity, I think that one will bear fruit because it was technically sound.
Toxic, great pass out to Circuit. Tendo positioned very well on that backboard to deal with that. Big fan of that backboard defense. I know Lars Nude harps on that all the time, and I could not agree more. Blue Phoenix over to Tendo to clear, but took his time, and Thunderama gets in the way. Blue Phoenix yet again. Clearance the sequel. Worked out that time. Stolly taking the booster, rotating out to deal. No, actually won't catch this one. Tendo will. Has this sent back away. A lot of back and forth in the past like 90 seconds or so here, Novanta. We have yet to see any real scoring opportunities develop, and I think both teams could be served by just holding on to possession a little bit more.
Yeah, holding on to possession will definitely give you a chance to do these shooting lanes, as my colleague Lars Newt would say. But ultimately, I do think both of them are employing a separate plan. We are seeing a lot more plays involving Thunderama being stopped and Solar being stopped as well. I guess they're listening to the cast stream, if I can say so myself. But I think the boomer ball is not going to work out for each one of these. They have to go with a small ball formation here. Short passes, quick passes, that kind of thing.
Thunderama into the corner. Stully, great half flip to send it out. Misses that second touch on it. Toxic does as well. Blue Phoenix flicks past one, looking for the bump there, but his opponent was already sky high. That bump was never coming out. Thunder. Over to Tendo, clearing it straight back up. Very much a stalemate here as we tick ever closer to the first overtime of my evening. Not sure if I can say the same for you, Novanta, but overtime it shall be in game number 3.
Game number 3, golden goal situation. It is 1 game apiece and it's best of 5. I gotta say, the longer this goes on, this will benefit Missouri because they are the more patient squad of the two, but Boise State therefore has to act fast and faster if they want to be able to tip the scales in their favor. I'm not only looking at Thunderama here, I'm looking at Toxic. He's the only one that's not being marked totally and completely on both sides of the pitch to step up and to make sure they get one on the board.
Phoenix into the corner, wide. Oh, okay. Well, my camera angle deceived me there. It was wide open for a split second, but BSU just busy getting in slightly better positions. Tendo sending this one clear. We're getting demoed for his trouble. Circuit off that sidewall, brilliantly done to beat Stully. Oh, dangerous. Stully coming in. Ooh. What a shot for Missouri Baptist. It was magic like that was necessary to break the deadlock between these two teams, and Stully executed this one to perfection. Game 3 goes to MBU.
What I say, the secret weapon in that squad is Stoley, and Stoley was the sole goal in game 3. That's how tight this contest has been. Shout out to everyone so far. I'm on the edge of my seat here, but Stoley did the thing that was most needed. It was to make sure they won the game and to break up this rally, because the way these two teams are going, that overtime period could have been infinite.
I was waiting for, I was bracing myself for a double length Rocket League game in the middle of a best of 5 series. I don't know if my teeny tiny brain could handle that. And thank goodness it didn't take too long to see that back. And I'm also super glad that it ended with such a stylish goal. So somebody clip that for the man, because it deserves to be so. 2-1 now to Missouri Baptist. My brain just absolutely melted there. This is undoubtedly the team that has given Missouri Baptist the most trouble throughout the league. It's something that's always interesting to see is long term how matches like this can potentially destabilize a front-running team such as MBU. And now there's no way to find out, right now how this is going to work out, but I'm super interested to find out 2, 3, 4 weeks from now how this is going to affect MBU's ability to play with confidence after having come up against such a difficult challenge in the form of Boise State Orange.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is what they call it in the smart big brain academies of these institutions, a Pyrrhic victory, right? There's a big possibility that Missouri State can win, but at what cost? Whether it be the psychological strain, maybe them realizing they've peaked their form. They may win tonight, but there's a lot of implications and questions we may have of can they maintain momentum if they do, and if they don't win tonight. Because again, they're at series point, but the only 1 game separates these two squads. If they drop this series, this could be the start of perhaps a skid, because once you start losing, you may get into your own head about the strategies, and maybe you think that the things that brought you to the dance aren't nearly as effective. You get in your own head. Psychologically, Rocket League is one of the toughest esports because it's quick, it's 5 minutes, and you have a week to think about what you did. And so I gotta tell you, both teams are in an unenviable position right now, Leachy.
I'm also A, could not agree more. B, I'm also interested to see on the flip side how this is affecting Boise State. Now, I'm talking about Boise State like they're underdogs, and that is by no means the situation. They just lost 2 more games compared to MBU, so they're still as neck and neck as you could possibly be. But on paper, coming into this matchup, they were technically the underdogs. If by only 2 games. I am also super excited long-term to see if Boise State is able to take this game 4 on a beautiful Salty Shores, by the way. I am in love with this map. I can't stand how so many people hate it. I'm super excited to see how Boise State is able to carry this hypothetical momentum further into the season.
I also agree with their Salty Shores propaganda, but the question I have for you, Leachy, is another caster of commentary of mine, I think his name was Mars Loot. He said game 4s are pivotal. What does that mean to these two squads?
It means one's got to win and the other one has to not lose.
All right, there you have it.
That's why they brought me on.
Right.
The professional analysis. Stolly rocking into the back of his own corner, trying to take it all the way across the face of goal and beats one. Circuit waiting patiently. This is a pinch pass, in fact, over to Tendo. I think it was. It was, in fact, so close there. That would have been, I may have lost my mind if that had been pinched in at like 1 billion miles an hour. Tendo coming in. No, Phoenix can't quite get to the ball in time. Things have definitely sped up a little bit between these two teams here in game number 4. I'm loving what I'm seeing.
Yeah, these two teams have realized that they're not going to win any beauty contests, so let's get the goals in the net. Like, we've seen a lot less of the pretty stuff, but when we do it, it's pretty majestic here. But I would still like the fact that Missouri has been able to control the ball. If there was a possession game or possession points in Rocket League, Missouri will be favored there currently.
Great shot by Circuit to put it towards the far post. Fortunately, Stully dealt with it perfectly. Oh, and another great shot that Toxic deals with perfectly over the head of Blue Phoenix. Tendo off the sidewall. Circuit will only halt the momentum of that ball temporarily. A great over-the-top pass there. Stully can't quite wrangle that one enough to make it dangerous. So we'll have to retreat out of the offensive rotation. Great 50, 0 boost by Tendo, so using his car very effectively there. Always a risky play, Novanta, realizing when it's time to gamble and commit to a play on 0 boost and when it's time to just bail on it and head back to refuel.
And that's why they say it's a game of instinct, right? I've been in situations where you get stuck in hesitation, and that's the worst decision you can make. So even though you may go for it and you may miss or whiff, whatever the kids call it, you got to give yourself props for making a decision and committing with it.
Circuit has Thunderama to work with and will use him, but not before MBU cuts it out. Toxic, a half flip just to control this ball, but loses out to Blue Phoenix. Circuit is up over to Toxic yet again, becomes a passing option. Great shot, a wonderful save, diving save from Stully. Had to get up quick, so close. 2 minutes. What a save from Tendo. 0 boost yet again. This one's dangerous, flailing in front of the goal. Novanta, stop me if you've heard this before. It's still 0-0.
Yeah, still 0-0, and that's been the game all series there, but that should have been a goal exchange to break that deadlock. But now we have that shot goal here, but it's cleared away by Circuit. I don't know about you, Lychee, but if I was a bet man, I couldn't even put a bet down because both teams have had opportunity to score, but none of them have hit pay dirt.
Betting on this right now would be a fool's errand in my humble opinion. I'm so glad I don't have the means to bet on esports because I feel like I'd be a homeless gentleman right now, especially being a caster, pretending like I know what I'm talking about, and then when I have to put my money where my mouth is and I'm like out on the streets, that would be rough. Thank goodness that's not the case. Tendo catching this one. Oh, Thunderama actually continuing the momentum back towards the MBU goal. Toxic coming in for a shot. Easily saved by Stully. That one's towards goal yet again. Toxic, ooh, trying to get a redirect there with that half flip. Just didn't quite have the pace on it. This one's high. Stully trying to direct it down. Turns into a backboard pass. Blue Phoenix buys his team time to reorganize and pick up a little bit of extra boost. Tendo looking for bumps yet again. Not finding anything. Final 30 seconds, Novanta. I'm feeling a second overtime in a row.
It's looking more and more likely there, but not if Missouri Baptist can help it. They've just been swarming that goal. They're fighting for a shot. But yes, it looks more and more likely that an overtime situation may occur.
Stully, past one. Won't be Toxic. Ooh, double tap, but slightly wide. Circuit passes that over his head. And now a counterattack for MBU. This could be in. No, Stully can't see that one in. Thunderama sent it back the other way. This one's off the side. Great pass over to Stully, but too fast for him, so opts to retreat. Thunderama, will he commit to this? He will. That's a shot. Turns into a pass. Overtime number 2, Novanta.
Well, everyone loves being at the beach, so they gave us as much beach time as possible, and the Eggs had their sunscreen on. The golden goal situation once again. And you got to remember, Missouri Baptist is at series point. If they score 1 goal, this one's over. So if I'm looking at Boise, got to hack fast.
Tendo's up. Off that back wall. Not the most confident of clearances. Beating Circuit, though. Oh, beating Toxic as well. Stully comes in. 26 seconds, puts this one to bed off of a beautiful play. Flick 1, flick 2. Stully, the dagger in here, puts BSU to sleep.
Well, I got to say this. We played 4 games in this series, and only 8 goals have been scored in total. Call that a defensive classic if there ever was one, but Missouri Baptist once again proves why they deserve to be on top of the division. GG's, everyone. That was a classic.
A classic indeed. So tightly contested. That was exactly what I look for in a Rocket League match. Neither of us got a break for speaking, which just means nonstop action, so that's only a good thing. And yeah, 1 goal games every single time, 2 overtimes in a row. Super, super close. I will say I feel a little bit robbed that we didn't get to go to a game 5 because I think this series deserved it. But I don't think it reduced the amount of entertainment we got from this series regardless. That was absolutely fantastic, and super happy to share the call with you, Navanta. Now with BSU's hopes going forward throughout the rest of the season, because this is their first loss, and this is also MBU's first 3-1. I mean, not a sinking ship in any regard, but still, BSU, how can they push forward from this? Is it simply a matter of just recognizing the quality of their opponents and taking it for what it is?
To answer your question and to say your first point, but not getting the first full 5-game series, these 2 teams will meet again. Regular play for sure, but maybe even playoffs, because these 2 teams, the form they have and the depth they have, there's no doubt in my mind they will meet again. I guarantee you that there's going to be a fire burning on both sides of the scoreline there. You have on one side Boise State losing their first series. They want to get revenge. And on the other side, we saw Missouri Baptist drop a game. Someone made Missouri Baptist bleed. That has implications for the entire division. So I can guarantee whether or not they were rivals before, they're definitely going to be rivals after tonight.
I can't wait to see how the rivalry shakes out for the rest of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about Meta for a brief second before we throw it to a break. Meta Pro Gaming, everybody, is a full-service esport management, developmental, and consulting company. Meta provides esports coaching, college esports management, arena design, and equipment. Visit them at metaprogaming.gg to learn more. Thank you so much to Meta Pro Gaming for helping us make this entire broadcast possible. Thank you as well to Novanta, as well as our broadcaster Caleb in the background, for making this all possible as well. Novanta, thank you very much for joining me. I believe that does it for your evening. I've got one more match coming up for you as far as my voice being on top of it. Much to the chagrin of most of our audience, I'm sure. That is coming up for you just on the other side of this break. So, ladies and gentlemen, please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.